Good morning, everybody. I'm Ed Parcaut here with Mike Kelly and Real Estate Jerky Daily.
Yes, we are.
That's right.
And it's Tuesday already.
It's raining again today.
Yeah, but I see some sunshine. Well, I see shining behind a cloud.
Well, we were supposed to have concrete done yesterday. I'm glad they didn't we can get through this because it would be all messed up today.
Oh, it'd be that beautiful rain finish that they do. You pay extra for.
Well, they after 48 hours, rain is actually good for concrete.
It is.
It helps, cure it. But in the first couple hours, it can destroy it. So they're like, no, we moved it to Thursday. Well, I told you last week to move it to Wednesday. So I don't know why you moved it Monday when I said do Wednesday, because I looked at the actual.
What's it supposed to do? Thursday's supposed to be nice, right?
Yeah, I think Wednesday on.
Back to the 70s.
Yeah, back to we're in the 80s. No, I don't know what we're going to be.
Back to the 70s when I had long hair and I had red beard.
Not that part.
Not that part?
Yeah, back in the 70s, I was such a baby.
What? Well, what are you? You're 10, 15 years younger
something
than me?
Like that. No one needs to know how old I am. It's a secret.
I'm non-denominational old.
Yeah. All right.
I knew dirt when it had a surname.
Oh, did you?
So what do you got?
We have two things today. We have JOLTS and we have the manufacturing sector, ISM manufacturing, that came out today. JOLTS came out with job openings fell to 7.57 million, missing the 7.63 million expected, down from 7.76 million prior. That means the bond market is like, yeah, thank you, we love this. 10-year sitting at 4.1575. Wow. So we dropped,
a couple points.
Well, earlier this week and into last week, we were 430 something.
Right.
So we're actually going down. The rates are improving because the bond is sitting at 12 basis points higher. It's not improving a lot. It's just, better.
Yeah.
So that's what so that helped us there. The quits rate, which is quits rate, stayed at 2%, revised down from 2.1%, near the lowest level since 2015.
What are the quits?
That means I quit my job and I'm going somewhere else.
Okay.
Is your lights on?
My lights are on, but no one seems to be here. It's just all this right here.
Now you don't have any. Now
I'm grayed out.
You know what it is? You turned those down the other day because it was so bright.
Yeah.
When the sun wasn't shining.
Ooh, there we go.
All
right.
So the quits rate is when I quit my job to go do something else, and we had a lot of those people quit during the pandemic era, and further because they were getting so much money from the government not to work,
and so they quit 5 years ago.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
Well, that's like So I got major calls yesterday from agents who are like, yeah, my people have to go back to work, so they have to go buy a house closer to where they're working. So many, I guess,
they have to go back into the office. So
yeah, so many people up in like Tuolumne County who are
remote.
Yeah, worked for NASA. Now they got to go back in. Now they got to do all this other stuff, and they had no idea how many people were in Tuolumne County that now need to go back in, and so they want to get closer to their work. So they want to keep the house they have, rent it out, and go buy another one. And so I got a bunch of Well, I'm like, I like that. That's spurring the economy with getting everybody going back to work.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what else. The hiring rate remained at 3.4%, close to the lowest since 2013, excluding COVID, of course. Notably, hiring data for most of 2024 was revised lower. Yeah, we know that because it was all a lie. Manufacturing, ISM manufacturing came out at 49, softer than the 49.5 estimate, a step down from 50.3 previously.
Okay.
So what that means is the market overall, let's see here. I want to make sure I'm reading this right. The key factors, that employment component of this was especially weak, dropping to 44.7.
Yeah.
Out of 18 industries, only one reported employment growth. New orders fell from 48.6 to 45.2, showing soft demand. However, one concern, prices paid jumped 62.4 to 69.4, largely due to tariff-related costs, raising near-term inflation concerns. So it's shocking that we have those concerns, but everything's doing really well right now with the market. So the whole 50%, the 50 number that we're talking about, if you're below 50, that's contraction. If you're above 50, that is expansion. And right now it's showing a contraction. I think a lot of it has to do with not knowing what's going on with the tariffs, and they don't want to buy a bunch of stuff until after.
I saw an article yesterday, and I wish I clipped it and saved it. Actually, it was a news report, but what the tariffs are accomplishing so far, and there's a lot of good stuff, and I think there's going to be a lot more good stuff coming down the pike. But so, what else do you have to talk about?
Well, the only two other thing we got this really major stuff this week is tomorrow's big watch, I should say, because tomorrow, well, we have more, but tomorrow we're looking at ADP employment report and tariff. The market expects 105,000 jobs added in March, down from the previous expectation of 120. So if that comes out, that'll help improve bonds.
Okay.
The tariff, if tariffs come in worse than expected, expect a risk trade, meaning stocks may fall further and bonds could rally. So the tariff is actually good for bonds.
Yeah.
So what did you want to talk about?
Well, there's a new law that goes into effect. Let's see, today. AB 2016 is called Simplifying Probate for Primary Residences. So it goes into effect today, and AB 2016 will make it easier for families to transfer a primary residence valued under $750,000 without going through the full probate. So what it's going to allow us to do, the key provisions are primary residence exemption. Homes valued up to $750,000 will no longer require probate. Applies to deaths on or after April 1st, 2025. So if you die tomorrow or today, you're going to qualify.
What if he did yesterday? Can you just hold this
just leave the body in the kitchen
and make it in the refrigerator for a couple days?
For a couple days. Simplified succession process. Estates can now use a petition to determine succession to real property for homes up to $750,000, avoiding lengthy probate. Total assets up to $934,500, including up to $184,500 in cash, may qualify for this streamlined process. Definition of primary residence: the home must have been the decedent's primary residence, even if they weren't living there at the time of death. So 2 out of the last 5 years.
Right.
Procedural requirements: all heirs must sign the required court documents. A probate referee must appraise the home's value. At least 40 days must pass after the owner's death before filing the petition. So that should speed things up for them.
The thing is right now that thing is at 200 and some thousand.
Exactly.
So it's like,
and in California, give me a break. In California,
I had somebody who the wife passed away after the divorce, and they didn't finalize the house through the divorce, and they had to go through probate to buy out the whatever, and that took forever, and they had to go through the full probate because it was over by about 10,000.
Yeah. Well, probate will take additional up to a year, at least a year. You can sell the primary residence, but that money will be held in the probate court until it's finalized.
How about just get a trust?
Well, trust me, that's the best thing to do. It's the absolute best thing to do.
Just get a trust. It spells it out, spells everything out, so people don't keep you alive longer than you want to be kept alive and spend money on all that extra stuff.
Yeah, I got to do not resuscitate. What if there's a cure 2 months away? What if I'm supposed to be dead 2 months prior?
Do not resuscitate. Does that mean even in public right now?
Yeah. Are you planning something?
No, I'm just curious. Do you carry it around with you, or is that only in the hospital?
It's only in the hospital. So
I do have something to talk about.
Okay, cool.
What I'm saying is, so us lenders, when we qualify somebody, sometimes it's a little involved. It's not as easy as what's going on. Yes or no. Sometimes it's like boom, 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 done. You're out of the door. I had one the other day with 3 people that I was telling you about. That oh man, it's gonna take me forever to policy. It kind of did, but then it was like boom, boom, done, approved. We're going for a $800,000 purchase. No big deal.
Cool.
Had a veteran who I've been trying to help for a while, but we're helping them try to get their credit up. And the thing, unfortunately, was in December they got another car payment late. When I'm trying to help you increase your credit,
those will kill you.
Yes, and I understand things happen and whatever, but we tried to do a couple different things to get it up, and it actually got up, but it wasn't enough to not get a refer. So what people understand is we have to DU VA and stuff like that, and we want it automated underwriting so that we can push the ratios and get you in the house that you want, and it's easier. If we have to do a manual underwrite, there's only a handful of companies who still do those,
right?
And it's a lot more involved. Plus, your DTI for most of the time gets dropped to 45, and in most people's cases that are in this market, that's not going to work for them. Mm-hmm. That's a house about $395,000 for most. And the other thing is, a lot of people have extra cars and other stuff that they co-sign for somebody else, but they're not actually taking it over.
Right. Yeah.
And so you just work with us and understand as agents that we're working on it, trying to get it done. You know, trying to understand what's going on might not be the thing I want to talk to you about right now because I'm still working on it. And sometimes these things take days and sometimes they don't. It's just, you never know.
Right.
And then, you know how you do something for friends and family and there's always issues. like something pops up that normally doesn't ever pop up. Well, I had one guy reached out to me who used to be in the business, know him really well. He was actually in a Rotary. I'll tell you about him later.
Okay.
And then he, right at the end there was one thing after another. Okay, ready to go to clear to close. Boom, this pops up. Gotta clear. It takes 3 hours to fix all this stuff, which normally doesn't happen. And I told him, he goes, yeah, I know. That's why I never used to do stuff for friends and family. But it's always the friends and family. Always something happens on.
Yeah. I like it when they think they can not talk about it. I had a friend of a family that was referred to me to do a short sale a long time ago. And she thought it was cool to think, oh, the IRS, they're not going to hit me. They're not going to hit me. We're going to get this thing sold before I have a IRS claim on me. And the very last minute, boom, right before we're going to close escrow, a $25,000 IRS claim. And she had the nerve to yell at me. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Remember when we filled out all this paperwork and I said, tell me everything? Yeah. Do you tell me about that? No. I thought it wouldn't hit. Okay.
Well, the thing is, if they put a lien, it doesn't lean against the property. It leans out in the area that you're in. And then they have to search those, what they used to call page down, I don't know if they still do, to see if there's a lien against you.
Right.
And then, that's how they find it. They don't go out and like tie it to that property. They just tie it to whenever a real estate transaction or something happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what you want to do is have for your IRS, your stuff somewhere else. So they only do that county, not the county you're living in.
There's many ways to get around this.
How about pay it?
Yeah, pay it.
How about make payment arrangements? You can do that. But it's like all of a sudden I had one set up and all of a sudden it's not going. I got a call today. Maybe it was because what Trump took over and they made changes. They stopped or they got rid of. They've gotten rid of a lot of agents.
Yeah, good. And that was back in the days when I had a lot of red hair still. So the anger quotient was quick. Now that I'm gray, I'm more calm and say, okay, how do we fix this?
Well, what bothers you in your 20s do not bother you in the 30s, 30s in the 40s, same thing, 40s in your 50s, the same thing, and in your 60s. It just
becomes your back.
It's just like, okay, I've been through this before. I've seen this before.
Yeah.
And there's nothing I can do about it. Just move on.
True.
That's all I pretty much have. Just work with your loan officers and understand that when they're working with a client, sometimes it takes a little bit longer, is all I want to say, because situations are not always as what we know up front.
Yeah.
And we try to do stuff and then things happen.
And remember, if you got someone dying soon, AB 2016, if they're not in a trust, may help you out a little bit.
Trusts don't take that long.
No, they don't.
So get a trust done now.
I know. Because
they'll just save you, because then you don't have to go to probate
and
spend all that money, that $40,000.
Although if you get a trust, make sure your insurance knows that your house is in the trust. Although if you're in a trust and there's family members that you don't want involved in the transaction or get anything from it, please spell it out in the trust.
Name them and do not leave anybody out.
Yep.
Unnamed individuals who come afterwards.
Yeah.
Whoever they are.
Even if you don't know them.
And if you do know them and they're getting something, and then if they contest the trust, they are kicked out of it and get nothing.
Yeah.
That's how you can spell all that out. Talk to your attorney.
Yeah.
All right. Again, the advice we give here, we always tell you to go talk to an actual professional when it comes to that, unless it's mortgage and real estate. That's
don't, as you go into prison, don't say, well, Mike said.
Maybe get a deal first and then say Mike says, and then go after Mike.
There you go.
All right. Make it a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Peace out, brothers and sisters. Bye.